Okay, so we've got a smooth bore 24 pounder, one of 12 obtained for the new colony of Queensland in 1862, and this gun in particular was involved in an incident where someone was fatally wounded, and I believe the gun went off prematurely, probably because the flash hole wasn't blocked, or I forget the right terminology for that, when they block it with your thumb, so there's no oxygen inside there. So when the guys rammed the powder home, it discharged and fired the ramrod through one, or it might have been two people. So yeah. So that's the actual gun that the accident happened with. Okay, so now we're walking towards the fort. This is the entrance. I'll just keep it filming. There's another museum there, but it's closed. So we've got the moat. This is the moat that goes around the fort. This is all fresh water now, but at one stage this was joined to the Brisbane River, so it would have been a lot cleaner. There wouldn't have been the reeds and all that sort of stuff in there. And it got blocked off after this place was discontinued. So it's been talk over the years many times of having this place cleaned out, but you know what they're like. They want all this stuff to stay old and ruined. So we're heading into the main gates of the fort. This is an underground fort. There's a little emplacement up there. There's another gun up there. That looks like a Nordenfelt bridge gun. It is. That was never there. So they have been slowly fixing the place up, reintroducing some of the gear. I've camped here quite a few times when we were doing the History Alive events, while we were doing our American Civil War reenacting. Okay, let's go for a look. We'll head up there in a minute. That's where the guns were. I believe this was ammunition storage. The block and tackle and that for bringing the gun in for maintenance or whatever it was. I believe this was to keep some ammunition in this little door here. So here's the gun. What were the... Okay, 80 pounder muzzle loading. Okay, so the originals were 80 pounder muzzle loading guns, and then it was changed to the 6-inch 5-ton Armstrong breech loading gun. So this was a disappearing gun. So it had a permanent roof there, but it had a hydraulic recoil mechanism that the gun would swing. It would come down below the roof line for loading, and then it had hydraulic counterweights or whatever in storage, so then when the gun was ready to fire, it would swing up, the roof would open, it'd stick above the roof, it'd fire, and the recoil would bring it back down so the crew could load safely with overhead cover. Okay, we'll continue on through the fort. That's just looking down to the parade area. So there's handrails here blocking off access to down those stairs, down to these rooms down here. There's some more stairs. This is where the second gun would have been, but as you can see, the ring for the roof is still there. But yeah. they haven't bothered to put the second one in. Okay, heading out towards the river. So I believe this is twin quick-firing 6-pound naval guns on a rotating turret. It's the twin guns there. That's the sight. And there was turntables, and the whole turret would swing around on the turntable. And there was other observation buildings on the top here, and I believe they were on stilts, and there was a bushfire or a grass fire that came through, burnt the stilts out, and the observation tower fell down. Maybe that even could be the tower that used to be up there, and after it's fallen it landed there. I'm pretty sure that's what has happened. Obviously the ship and those sheds wouldn't have been here back in the day. That's the port of Brisbane out there. So these things would have... There was 3 gun batteries protecting Brisbane, especially during World War I and World War II. There was one in this direction over here at Skirmish Point at Bribie Island, on the southern tip of Bribie Island. Then there was another one more in this direction over here on the western side of Moreton Island. So that was Cowan, I believe it was, and that was kind of hidden behind a little cove, and the idea was they'd wait for ships to come into the middle of the bay near the mouth of the river, and then they'd open up from 3 different directions, and they'd be caught in a triangulation of fire, this being the main fort, and the other ones were I don't believe they were as big guns, but they were smaller, quicker firing guns to help with the confusion and the chaos, while the bigger guns from here would do the most damage. And during the 2 world wars, just out the front here there was a submarine boom net that had mines attached to it, and there was an little observation building on the other side of the river there in the mangroves, and if there was any Japanese or German submarines that were entangled in the net, they could detonate the mines that were attached to the boom net, and that was in defence of not only the city of Brisbane, but also the American submarine fleet that was docked at Kangaroo Point. So this is also a part of the moat down here. Look at all that tinder. Okay, and the moat continues on around there. There we go. There's those 6-pounder quick firing guns, firing up to 80 rounds a minute. There we go. And that was the observation tower that was on the stilts that burnt down. And I believe that's what's left. Now this is my favourite part of the fort. Unfortunately it's blocked off, you can't go inside there anymore, but you used to be able to back in the good old days. That was the observation slit. So that little tiny slit there's a couple of steel barricades, like a Ned Kelly helmet, and these guys would be inside the tunnel there, and then they were hidden from view, but they were able to observe the river and out the mouth of the river down there. And if the fort was ever attacked, the moat was hidden, and if troops disembarked and tried to charge the fort under fire, they would come to the moat, and then that's where they'd be machine gunned and hand grenaded to doom. This is just looking down into where one of the disappearing guns would have been. The second one over there. There's a couple of more emplacements here where there would have been a couple of other weapons. There's the missus down there. She'd be very, very bored right now. She's already told me this is going to be the longest tour of her life. Got a little gun here. I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming it's going to be a 2-pounder. Small little... There's no plaque here saying what it was. That could be a 2-pounder. That was quite common. It's a breech loader. Falling block or sliding block of some description. Okay, this is a little observation tunnel. Just standing right on top of it. There's the moat down there, looking out to the river.